Hi, you are watching the Voice of Truth Prophetic TV, and I'm your host, Dr. Sandra Wepler. Join me today. We're outside on a beautiful, beautiful fall day, and I just want to talk to you about what the Lord has put upon my heart about your high calling. What happens to a person when they have a calling and God has a purpose on their lives? I just wanted to talk to you guys about that today because I wanted to share with you my story and some of the things that have happened to me. Everyone knows that I was conceived in Dubai, and I was born in India, and when I was in Dubai, I grew up there for 27 years, and essentially as I was growing up over there, the Lord touched me when I was 19 years old, and I was on a fire for the Lord. I loved Him. I wanted my purpose and my plan to happen, and God's plan to happen right there and then. But God had other plans, okay? And today I want to really focus and zoom in to talk about your high calling and what happens to a person on their journey, okay? The first thing I want to say to you in this journey is that God chooses you even before time. Even before you were born, He chose you, He appointed you, and He set you in place, okay? But there's somebody else that knows that you have a high calling, and that is Satan. Satan knows you have a calling. He knows you're significant. He knows that God loves you and has a plan and has chosen you. So here's what happened to me. I want to tell you what happened to me. So my mom was pregnant for me when I was really, I would say, not even, really, really young. Like I was probably, about maybe 2 months old in my mom's stomach, and my mom didn't know that, that she was pregnant for me. So what actually happened is they met with an accident, and the car rolled, a couple of times, and my mom didn't know she was pregnant for me. She found out later, and then when she was 6 months pregnant for me, she fell down the stairs on her stomach. And later, when she was 9 months pregnant, she fell down again. And this was not my mom being clumsy, by the way. This was Satan trying to take us out. He was trying to take me out. He tried to do it with my mom, and he certainly wanted to do it with me. And when I was about 23 years old, I almost lost my life in almost like a car accident. And and that was a significant time because my Facebook family and friends, what I want to say to you is that Satan has a target on your back. When he knows that you have a calling and a purpose, he has a target on your back. He wants to take you out because he knows that you are important to God, that you are going to go out there and you're going to make a difference, and you're going to be a mover and shaker, for the Lord. And there are going to be so many voices that are going to tell you something different. Today I want to tell you, don't listen to those voices, because those voices are insignificant. Whether they're voices that are coming, to your family, through your family, whether they're voices coming through people, whether they're voices, that are telling you contrary to what, God the Father wants for you, for your life. I mean, at 23, I want to tell you what happened. When I missed to meet with that accident, my entire life changed. My Facebook family and friends, my entire life changed. What happened was, after that, I got into so much of fear. I couldn't be by myself every day. I was so dependent on others. I couldn't stay home. I couldn't drive a car. For 30 years, Satan had this power, of deception over me. And the tool that he uses is deception, my friend. He uses deception. He uses lies. He uses these things because he will look through the generational line and he'll see what he can use from the generational line, things that are in our soul, wounds that are in our soul, and he'll capitalize on that. But I want to tell you that God is faithful. Recently, I made a trip to Texas. You guys know, you all saw me on that trip. And during that trip, what I did was I took authority, I spoke in tongues, I decreed and declared, and I decided that I was going to break this thing off. You know, Voice of Truth is taking the voice of the Father to nations, and here, if I can't go to the nations, and if I can't travel on a plane, and if I can't be by myself, how am I going to, you know, fulfill this mandate that the Lord has given me? So I want to say to you guys, don't give up on your dream. Dream big and know that God has your back. And so, you know, John, I want to remind you of John 15, verse 16, when it says, do not, you know, God says that you did not choose me, but I chose you, and I appointed you so that you should go and bear much fruit. Romans 8:28 says that all things work for good for those who are chosen by God and are called by his purpose. So you are called, my friend, and you have a high calling, and that's why all hell is breaking loose over you, and that's why things are seeming difficult, and that's why people are talking against you, and there's persecution over your life, because you have a calling, my friend. And I want to say to you that, you know, 30 years, you know, it's like that, like the person, you know, next to the well that Jesus talks about, where he, for 38 years, he just slept there in near the pool, and he was waiting for somebody to throw him in the pool, because the angel comes to the pool when the water is stirred up, and then people get healed. And that guy was, you know, he had actually given up hope. I mean, you know, if it was somebody else, they would try to, like, you know, just move, right? And just drop themselves in the water after 38 years. I mean, you'd rather just die than just be sitting down somewhere and nobody, you know, knows you, nobody, you know, cares. You know, none of his friends were there, obviously, because if his friends were there, they would have picked him up and put him in the pool. And I want to say to you today that in your journey, there might not be, you know, your friends might not be with you. In your journey, maybe your family may not be with you. In your journey, people will, you know, there are some people that you're going to just have to lose, because they're not going to have the vision, and they're not going to be able to come together with you on that vision and on that journey today. So I just want to say to you that I had the biggest breakthrough, my Facebook family and friends, you know, and I traveled. I decided to break this curse, this generational curse that my grandmother and my mother was suffering with, and I just went in tongues and I prayed, and God gave me the courage. And last week I took a flight all by myself, all the way from here to Atlanta City, from Atlanta right up to San Antonio. And I'm telling you, when we took off, everything, all hell broke loose. I was so afraid. I was, you know, had a full-blown panic attack. There was anxiety, because I knew that, you know, my husband wasn't around, my family wasn't around, and I was around people I didn't know, and I was embarrassed because I was so, you know, worried and concerned about how people were going to view me. And of course, I'm on a plane to, you know, to the U.S. and I have to be careful because I'm on a plane to U.S. So, you know, it was a very embarrassing moment. But what I want to say to you guys is that when I actually went up, when the plane went up into the clouds, I heard the Father say, "Sandra, I am your Father, look out." And I turned around and looked out, and when I saw the clouds, and when I knew my Father's voice, I knew the voice, and when I looked out, the fear just went out. It was like he distracted me through all of the fog that I had in my mind, through everything that was going on. I completely was able to just listen to that voice, and I listened to that voice, and I looked out, and the fear broke over my life. I'm telling you, my Facebook family and friends, God is on your side. He loves you with an everlasting love. I'm telling you, like, He is someone who really, really is, sold out for you. Like, He is sold out for you. He's passionate about you. He's intentional about loving you. And don't, I'm telling you this today, don't worry about what people say. Don't worry about who believes and who doesn't believe in your calling. Don't worry about all of the different fears and anxieties. Just trust and press into God, because you have a high calling. And I'm telling you that the conflict is happening in your life. Listen to me, my Facebook family and friends. The conflict is happening in your life because Satan knows that you have a calling. The conflict is the persecution is happening because Satan knows that you have a calling on your life. So I want to say to you today on this broadcast, my Facebook family and friends, don't give up. Dream big and don't listen to the lies and the deception. You may be in a bad position today. You may be having financial lack. You may be having, things to deal with. Maybe kids that are not saved. Maybe family members are not saved. You may be, maybe there's a husband that's not saved, or there's a wife that's not saved. And I just want to say to you today that, don't worry about those things. Don't worry. Just keep pressing on. Just decree and declare and continue to believe. There was this time of 30 years, which was like a desert place where, I just couldn't see, how my calling was going to take place. I just couldn't see. I couldn't perceive it. But I trusted the Lord. I decreed, I declared, I took communion with my husband. We pressed in. And, our lives are still not perfect, but you know what? It's pretty good when God comes through and gives you the breakthrough, and only He gets the glory for it. So there's somebody watching today. There's somebody watching, and I'm saying to you today, listen, my Facebook family and friends, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to somebody today. Don't give up. Dream big. The Father loves you, and so do I. Bye for now.